Small Time Game Time presents Everything Football. Hi everyone, I am Sheeraz and today I'm joined by Awais and Nahmaan, who are my football experts. And we're going to talk, actually this is our first weekly football, what are we going to call it, guys?
Call it a roundup?
Football review? Podcast? Yeah, podcast, nice, I like that.
It's a podcast.
Alright, cool, so we'll go with that. Yeah, so this is our weekly one. What we're going to do as well is that we're going to talk about probably the more important games or the more exciting games. Is that right? Should we do that? Or the more high profile games?
The more high profile games, one with more section.
No one cares about the smaller teams, basically.
Okay, don't say that. We are alienating our viewers. Cool. So we'll start off with probably the most high profile game this weekend, which was Chelsea versus Arsenal.
Arsenal-Chelsea.
So guys, the score was 2-0 to Chelsea. I guess there was nothing new there then.
No, I think that was a solid performance.
You'd be stupid to
Chelsea.
war against them.
I think they were then another level, to be honest.
Nah, you'd be silly to war against them. Arsenal are weak in the midfield. Even though a lot of Arsenal fans say they're strong in the midfield, they're weak in the midfield. That's their
all right. So before we get to that, so let's start off with the first goal that was scored, which was the penalty, if I'm not mistaken. So Hazard ran pretty much right through the middle. So opinion. Oh, firstly the penalty. I mean, how cool is Hazard? You know, just does not miss, and he just he's looking at the goalie while he's taking the penalty as well.
But he hasn't taken a penalty against De Gea,
Well, we'll get to that match. He's going to feature.
No, I think it's a really good run.
Yes.
I mean, top of the shoulder, quick feet, got him a penalty.
Yeah, I mean it's quite staggering how Arsenal's midfield just parted like the Red Sea. I mean, you don't want your centre backs one-on-one against a skillful guy like Hazard, right?
Yeah, but that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, their biggest weakness is a defensive midfielder. It's been like that for years, and if there was one there, Hazard wouldn't have had a free run.
All right, so
the back four.
So I mean, let's talk about the brilliance of Hazard, because he's going to be one of the main reasons as to why Chelsea most likely, I guess they're the favourites for the league, but you know he'll be quite influential in that. You know, so let's talk about why he's so important to the Chelsea team.
He's a match winner.
I think it's the goals he brings. What was it? 20 goals last season. Oh.
Yeah.
How many did he get in all competitions?
I think it was I think Premier League was 20 or 20 in all competitions.
Well, the thing with Hazard is he can do something out of nothing. He can have a bad game and still score, and you know that's the same thing as Ronaldo for United 5-6 years ago. Hazard is going to be at that level. So I mean, he can have a bad game, but the thing with Chelsea is you might not even notice his bad games because they got Costa, Fabregas.
Yeah, how good was Costa and Fabregas? Fabregas for Costa second.
No, but everyone's going to talk about the past, but no one's going to talk about Oscar's performance. He was amazing.
Well, you know what? That partnership, the partnership between both Fabregas and Costa seems to be match made in heaven, and it seems like, I mean, it was. I wouldn't say it's a genius move by Mourinho, because you know you put two quality players together, they're gonna play well. But saying that though, the way they're playing is just, you know, it's almost
another level,
man. Psychic, you know. Yeah, exactly. You know, and what Fabregas is obviously pretty much been influential in every single game so far this season, as has Costa. So you know, what do you think? An injury to Costa ruins Chelsea's league title hopes, or Fabregas?
Oh yeah, it would make a big difference. I mean, without Costa, there's no outlet. I mean,
yeah.
Hazard can still win them games and still do well, but they're not going to have that big man up front that's going to cause problems at the back. I mean, I can imagine.
No, if Drogba's fit, I think they have their Drogba. Obviously, he won't be as sharp.
Yeah, but Drogba's not going to be as sharp. He's not going to be as quick.
36 years old. He is 36 years old. So you know, he and his last season at Chelsea wasn't stellar. He just played.
Could you imagine Chelsea against City without Costa? Yeah. Their back four's going to have a field day.
It's a good point. I mean, so are we all in agreement that Chelsea losing someone like Costa for, say, you know, 6-7 games in the league? Potentially.
I mean, only look last year. They could have won the league had they had a striker.
No, but think about it. Schürrle was getting goals. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, Schürrle will get him goals, but the thing is,
they had the goals, but
Schürrle's not going to drag out a defense. He's not going to
Yeah, but
throw his weight
Mourinho's
around
clever.
up
Then
front.
he'll
He won't do that.
he'll adapt to that. He'll adapt to the players he has at his disposal.
He's got Lloyd Remy. What do you think about Remy as potentially a backup? I mean, he's a different
I
player.
mean, he came on for what was it?
brings a
Less
lot
than
of
20
speed.
minutes. Scored himself a goal.
Yeah, no. Rourke Remy is good. I like him. He's quick. He's direct. But again, I just think he's not.
Obviously, he's not the same class as
Costa.
Obviously.
The question,
Yeah,
I guess the question
you got to
is.
remember, you got to remember that if Costa gets injured, City have a squad too, and if City go on a run, then you can't really say that it might not make a big difference, because it can. Costa's got how many goals already? 13, 14? Something stupid.
No, I think he's like 8, 9 in the league. I think he has right now.
Yeah, but you take away those goals, then and City go on a run, City will overtake, because they got like a really strong squad as well. So
No, I don't think City have been doing as
massive loss.
good as they did last year. They started much better last year.
I thought that last year, but then they finished really, really strong.
Well, actually, no. Actually, they've actually had a better start to the year than last year. I think they got 1 point more than they did last year.
Okay.
City actually started off.
And you got to remember, they got injuries as well. So
yeah, it'll be an interesting season. I think for 6-7 games, I think Lloyd Remy could probably handle the burden, because he scored goals at a very poor Newcastle side. So, well, anyway, I'm under the impression that Costa would potentially have a small dent to the title challenge in terms of letting others get close to them, but I think Remy might do a fairly decent job of keeping them going. Let's move on to.
I think Chelsea's a machine.
Yeah, fair enough. I think everyone agrees that Chelsea are going to probably win the league. Let's talk about Arsenal now. Let's move on to Arsenal. And Wenger mentioned actually over the summer that he had a first buyback option on Fabregas, and he refused it on the basis that he had too many players that could play his position. So what's your take on that?
I think Fabregas chose Chelsea because he wants trophies. He had a spell at Arsenal, he didn't win much there, but I think he chose Chelsea. Even when Mourinho comes out and says it.
Oh, interesting. So you believe that he always wanted to go Chelsea and Arsenal was never an option, but it was maybe a cover-up story from both Wenger and Fabregas, because that Fabregas. The letter that was given to the public was that Fabregas had come out and said, I did want to join Arsenal, but Wenger had told me that there was no space for me. Therefore, I had the only other option the only other club that was interested in me was Chelsea. So you think that's all a load of malarkey, and that's just to save Fabregas?
Yeah, I think that. I definitely think that. I mean, come on, man.
Or fans.
If Wenger knew he had a chance to sign Fabregas, I don't care how crowded your midfield is, you make space, especially for a player like Fabregas. So I think,
Wenger,
definitely.
We all know Wenger's got a soft spot for him. He brought him in the team when he was 17, and to be fair, regardless of the midfielders they got, Fabregas walks into that.
Yeah, I think just to save face, they knew that he wasn't going to sign, so they didn't bother making an attempt.
He wasn't going to sign for them. It was simple as Fabregas would not have won anything at Arsenal, and plus they didn't need. I mean, they really didn't need him. He wasn't there. He would. That,
no, I can't say you would say any team doesn't need him. I think he's a brilliant player.
I guess it takes you to that extra level in terms of what he does. Fair enough. I mean, they could have spent money, maybe getting a defensive midfielder or two.
But the thing is,
Flamini and Arteta look like
he won't win them the league. Strengthening other key positions gives them.
Yeah, fair enough. But all right, okay. No, you're right. All right, so I want to kind of detract from this conversation, but let's move on to the fact that Chelsea have beaten Arsenal again. Wenger has lost to now Chelsea. Well, he hasn't beaten Mourinho's side for, 12, 13 games maybe? I'm not entirely sure of the facts, but he's now not won against him for that many games. Now my question here is, every Chelsea game that I've watched personally, I've noticed that the games are almost similar, identical. They all happen the same way. It's generally, striker game, bullying one team's defender, and I just want to get your opinion. What is Wenger doing wrong here? What can he change with the team that he has? So let's not worry about signings and stuff. Nahmaan,
they don't have a plan B.
Let me know.
Simple as, they don't have a plan B. They can't. I mean, we've done it to them. We being Man United. Every time they play us, we just bully them. They can't. They don't like it. They don't like getting stuck in. And although Wilshere's the only one that fights, it doesn't really make a difference. They don't have a plan B. Chelsea basically came in there to ruffle some feathers, and Arsenal couldn't take it, and it was evident. Oscar did so much running that game. He ran into so many players, tackled them, threw his body around, and they didn't like it. That's how you play Arsenal. That's how you beat Arsenal.
It is a good way to play Arsenal because they lack with defensive midfielders, so they can't, if you countering them is generally a good tactic. Mourinho's obviously picked up on this because this time it didn't seem like he ruffled them up so much. It was more the counter-attacking. He suffocated them at space, so he invites the pressure in, suffocates them, and then gets the ball out as fast as he can. And
that's exactly what we did to them at Old Trafford last season. We just let them come in, let them come in.
I think Manchester United
let them come in, break them up quickly and attack. I mean, that's how we beat them, and we've done that for the last 3 years.
So my question is to you again. What does Wenger do differently? How does he get something against the Mourinho side with the team he has? Because let's be honest. Obviously, Arsenal are a much inferior team to this Chelsea team. Most clubs in the league probably are, but every dog has its day, and what needs to go right for Arsenal, and what does Wenger need to do right? What does he need to let go of his philosophy a little bit and just bite the bullet and say, what? Do we play a bit more defensively? Do we play more counter-attacking? Because he obviously doesn't prefer the counter-attacking side. He likes to obviously play free-flowing football.
Now,
so
the thing is, what do you Chelsea think? They're organised, so you can't play free-flowing football through them. You have to let them get the ball, let them come out, and then hit them on the counter. But the other thing with Chelsea is you got to get at them quickly.
So disorganised their shape.
You know what? Sometimes against Chelsea, route one is the way to go. Their defenders, their right back and their left back like to bomb forward. Route one, diagonal ball over the top, might be the way to go.
Create stretch the play. Yeah, fair enough. All right, cool.